Today I'm going to show you how to do the plank. What's going on, everybody? It's Blake here with Gorilla Zen Fitness. Hey, I just got back from North Carolina on a backpacking trip there, and it was awesome. And you know, I've never had like facial hair before, but I thought I'd try it out, so bear with me over the coming weeks here. So like I said, today I'm going to show you how to do the plank properly. Like the prone cobra, if you haven't seen my video on that, check it out over here. Like the prone cobra, the plank has tremendous capacity to either make or break your posture depending on how you do it. You know, I see people doing plank wrong all the time, and in today's video I'm going to point out some of those inefficiencies and dysfunctions and tell you how to do it the right way. When you do the plank the right way, it has tremendous capacity to improve your standing posture as well as stabilize that lumbar spine in your lower back, which is going to help prevent injuries. Okay, so before I actually get on the floor and show you how to do the plank, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what it should look like. Basically, your plank should be an exact replication of how you want to stand. So, in other words, your ideal standing posture taken from a vertical position and translated into a horizontal position on the ground, okay? So, just for example, if you don't want to be standing with your pelvis pushed forward like this, then when you're in the plank, do not let that happen. So in other words, the way you perform your plank is going to have a tremendous influence over your static standing posture, which is precisely why it's very important to do it right. If your form is all messed up, your hips are sagging, your upper back is rounded, then you're going to have the tendency to stand that way. Okay, so let's get into it. Keep in mind here that I'm assuming that you have common postural distortions such as an excessively rounded upper back and an anterior pelvic tilt. So some of the cues that I give in the plank instructions are going to be addressing those things, and they might not be pertinent to you if you don't have them, but the majority of the population does, so that's why I put those cues in there. With that being said, this is what an ideal plank is going to look like for the majority of you. Okay, now let's break this down step by step. First of all, we're going to start by looking at the pelvis. Most people are anteriorly tilted in the pelvis, meaning that their butt kind of sticks out and they're tilted forward like this, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to suck it underneath and take it into a posterior pelvic tilt. For most of you, that's just going to actually neutralize the position of your pelvis. And in conjunction with that, some extra benefits are it's going to give you more glute activation and more rectus abdominis activation during your plank. The second thing you're going to want to do is pay attention to the height of your pelvis during the plank. You want your pelvis to be at the same level as your shoulders and the rest of your spine. Frequently, people let their pelvis sag in a plank and it looks like this. So what this is going to do is it's going to predispose you to developing a posture called sway back, and that's characterized by having your pelvis in front of your torso like this, okay? That's a postural distortion that can cause a lot of injuries, not to mention it just looks kind of weird. So don't do that. So just by looking at the pelvis, this is what we have so far. So once you're up, you're going to suck the stomach in, squeeze the glutes, and then tuck that pelvis underneath you. So the next area we're going to want to pay special attention to is the upper back, also known as the thoracic spine. Here we need to make sure that we're not rounding into kyphosis, which is that rounded upper back. A lot of times when I cue my clients to posteriorly rotate their pelvis, the first thing that happens is that upper back will round like this. To correct this, you need to focus on lifting from the chest and poofing the chest out while keeping that pelvis posteriorly rotated. It's going to look like this. Now this is easier said than done. It's going to take a lot of practice, and I do recommend that you do this with either a camera or mirrors to use as a visual aid to make sure you're doing it right. The last aspect of the body that we're going to look at is the head and the cervical spine, your neck. So most people have this forward head posture thing going on. So what we're going to do is we're going to flex the cervical spine and keep that thing in alignment with the rest of the spine. And that's going to look like this. Although that sounds simple, it's really not, which is why I encourage you to use a mirror or some kind of other visual aid, maybe a friend looking at you, to kind of assess you to make sure you're doing it right. Because until this becomes like a habit for you, you're not really going to have the proprioception or the bodily awareness to know if you're doing it right, which is why that visual aid is really important. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and you're not yet subscribed to my channel, then go ahead and do that right over here. Also, follow me on Instagram at GorillaZen. I'll include a link in the description down below. And go to my Facebook page and like that. I'll have a link in the description down below for that as well. Hope you liked this video. I'll see you next time.